Yay! Hello. Hello everyone. We are live. Um and so welcome to this episode of previously on let's see. So welcome to our February dev update live stream in which we will be talking about all the changes that we did recently, all the work that we um, uh, worked on for the last month. The last stream was about a month ago, so we have just about a month of content to go through, and then we are going to talk about some of the new stuff that's going to be released soon, as well as show you some really cool new content on the bazaar. Um, so hi everyone. Hi Alaric. Hi Al Alcionsa? Alcionsa? Duck playing games, Lectu, and everyone else in chat, and everyone else watching this later on VOD potentially. What's up? All right, so let's get started, and then we'll do a little round of Q&A, and we'll get to chat a bit more. So this month has been extremely busy for for us, especially me and Leon, with regards to uh, working on accounting tasks. So this is the first end of year, end of fiscal year for the Forge as a corporation. So it was a challenge. It was also a lot of learning to do with regards to how to do the bookkeeping properly, how to do the accounting properly, and all of that. It was really interesting and a lot of fun in some aspects of it, a bit less fun on some other aspects. But overall, that was a lot of my time that was sunk into that, unfortunately. So it wasn't specifically um, user facing features that I worked on, but it was things that were necessary to the proper functioning of the Forge as a whole. Um, Apart from that, there are also some work that was done by the rest of our team. Um, we did get to do some new changes that I'm sure all of you are going to appreciate. One of those changes, um, for example, is the new profile page. We'll get to that in a minute. We have the Fuji improvements module that now has our player application um, or client application. I'm not actually sure how we're calling it anymore. Player application, I think, though it's also for DMs and whatever. It's not just a player thing. But yeah, we have our application that you can um, launch. We'll show you that also in a minute. Um, but one of the big changes that we did, not so much change, but one of the things that we worked on specifically was to add proper Foundry V9 support. V9 was released during most of the team's vacation in late December, and then we had to test it, make sure that it was working properly with the Forge. There were some changes that needed to be done with regards to um, uh, how some of the content with regards to installing packages and all that worked. We're still seeing some small issues, some small things that need to be fixed. Like, for example, just yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago, we added support for cards. For more specifically, for migrating the images of your card decks from V9 when using the import wizard. It was still working before, it was just using the local relative path rather than the CDN, so it wasn't as optimal as it should be, but it was still working, but now it's natively supported with the import wizard. So there are still some things that we notice, oh, we didn't see this, oh, we didn't notice this, so we're working on improving things, but mostly since our release that was almost a month ago, Foundry V9 um, is well supported and it works well, and it has been modified to be our new default recommended version. So if you haven't updated to Foundry V9 yet, we recommend that you do. It's a really great piece of software. The changes are great, the performance improvements are great, and V9 also, like the migration path from 0.8.9 to Foundry V9 is not as painful as we've seen in the past. Most of the modules are compatible because the API breakage have been rather minimal this time around, and there was a very good path to migrating the modules and the systems for the developers. So everything was done very smoothly, I believe. So we recommend people to upgrade to Foundry V9. Obviously, we always recommend that you make backups of your worlds before you do any updates. Um, but that's one of the big changes, right? So Foundry V9 as our new default recommended Foundry version. Now let's see some of the changes that we did. Um, One of the big changes that landed very recently is the overhaul of the profile page. If you remember before, it was one long page that you had to scroll through and it has all sorts of things mixed in. Now you have this really nice um, uh, tab-based profile. And you get even more stuff like your subscription shows up like this, so you can see the little nice icon. You have um, the API key manager is integrated into its own tab instead of just being a button. You have your purchases, billing is separate so you can access it directly. It also allows us to give you, for example, a link that takes you directly to the right tab if needed, if you want to send a user to a specific tab for them to look at. Like, oh, here's where you want to change your payment method, here's the link, account hashtag billing, and then they'll see it, rather than sending them to the account page and saying you have to scroll midway through, which has been a little bit harder to for users to find the information that they need. So that's a big improvement, and I'm very happy with the overall result of the new account page overhaul. Um, so the the um, the new organization is going to make things much easier for users, and it will let us also add and improve things without feeling like we're just cramming more things into something that is already difficult to achieve. So we'll be able to add more stuff as well um, in the future more easily. So it's much more simple now. You have also, as an example, okay, this account isn't linked, but if you were linked with Patreon, it would show you your pledges. You don't need to click an extra button just to display them like we had before, because before we didn't want to just have a lot of information, so we had a button that hid the pledges on Patreon, and you had to click it to show them. Now you're just on the Patreon tab, so it just shows you all of that information. Um, and hopefully it improves the overall user experience. I think a lot of people will appreciate it, and we have made this promise before, and um, we told you that one of the things we want to concentrate on in the short term is to just improve the user experience, improve the website, add some more polish to it, and things like that. So that's part of that. The next thing that I want to show you is the Forge um, uh, improvements module. It's an optional module, so before we get into this whole thing, this whole game, because that's part of our Bazaar Showcase, I want to show you the actual Bazaar, the actual module. So if you go to your uh, module list, you will see a new module that is automatically installed for everybody. And it doesn't take any of your quotas or anything. Don't worry about that. But yeah, it will be available, but it will be disabled by default. So it's an optional module, and you have the option to enable it if you wish to. If you do, you get this little thing here. If we go to the Forge More Awesomeness, install player application. So you can click install, and you get this. Do you want to install this app, basically? And I'm going to install it, and you see just instantly it installed this app, right? And it's basically kind of like the Foundry app, where you just have um, um, this one uh, um, application, or like native application. It will show up um, in your start menu. It will show up in your taskbar as um, with the Forge icon instead of the Chrome icon. It still is Chrome technically, right? It still is. If you look at uh, like, I have my extensions from Chrome. If I click Manage Extensions, it actually takes me to my Chrome extensions. But it also appears here on my desktop. Let me just move this away. Um, and you can see I have my games here that I play or that I access um, available. And if I just click here to open it, it will open my game directly. It doesn't go through anything, and it's instant. And it's still the same Chrome application, but you don't have the navigation bar. It's a minimalistic UI. It's simpler, it's easier, and it's a straight access directly to your game, which is really great. And you can uninstall it like this, for example. If I uninstall it, it will, you know, just remove it from my desktop. Um, and that's basically it, right? You can also install it by clicking here. Well, here actually. So you can just install it like this. It's supported by Chrome and Edge. Unfortunately, Firefox have dropped support for installable applications, right? And if, for example, for whatever reason you are unable to, um, you know, uh, manage to install it, or um, uh, like you can't find it to uninstall it, you can always go to Chrome/apps, and you'll see your installed apps from here, and you can, remove from Chrome. You could also right click on it directly from your start task and do uninstall if you want to. A cool thing also is that once you're, for example, you forgot to open it directly and you're in your game, you can always click on this little icon to open this link as an app, and then you do open with, and then it just opens it just gets rid of the tabs and all that, which is really really cool. We worked on that. I think it was released a couple of weeks ago, something like that, and it just makes accessing your Forge games that much easier, and I love it. So that's one of the features that we wanted to show. It's really awesome, and one of the advantages of this Forge Awesomeness module, more awesomeness, is that it's there to bring you even more awesome stuff. This was our first awesome feature, and we'll add more. So the reason it's separated as as a different module is because we don't want to have users on the Forge that have a potentially bloat of additional stuff onto their games that they might not want. Because of Foundry's modular system, and you install just the modules that you want, we wanted people that just want those extra features that we offer to just be able to enable them via that module. And it also allows, if someone is trying to debug a problem where their Foundry is having some issues, and they are asked to disable all modules, they'll be able to disable all modules, and we get rid of those changes that we bring, so you don't have that potentially polluting your Foundry and causing issues that you might not be aware of. Some of the other features that might be coming eventually are, for example, one thing that I would really like to do, and I was discussing this yesterday on Discord, would be the addition of a assets browser that is very similar to what we have. Uh, keep closing my tabs, to what we have here in the assets library, and just being able to access your assets in this UI, letting you just see them, um, rename your files, delete your assets, which you can't do from within Foundry. um, Foundry itself has its own assets browser, or file browser, which looks quite different. um, right, so it's different. um, and some people prefer that, and some other people prefer the UI that we've built for you, and being able to give you that opportunity to browse your assets library from within Foundry itself would be really cool. Especially if you're using an API key to access someone else's assets library, you can't do that with the Forge website. You can only do it through Foundry. So this is going to be really nice, as well as browsing for the Bazaar. That would be a really cool thing to have a Bazaar browser integrated into directly into Foundry. Because as an example, if you just launch directly into your world with the installed application, you're bypassing the whole Forge website, right? You're not accessing the Forge. You're going straight to Foundry. So you might forget that there's a Bazaar. You might forget that there's a different way to access your assets library. You might not get uh, that same experience as if you're going through the Forge website first and then launching your game. So being able to provide those features and those UIs directly into Foundry are going to be pretty cool. And I think they'd be awesome, and therefore they'll be in the more awesomeness module. So that's a look of some of the things we have planned uh, for the optional module. Um, and there's probably going to be more. And as we get more ideas, we'll be adding to that. But for now, just installing that simple application is, I'm sure, is going to make quite a few people very happy. We've seen a lot of very positive feedback already on that feature, so um, I can't wait to have more features to make everyone happy. Um, let's get back to some of the other changes that we did. So one of the change is if you were on if you go to the plans page, previously it would show start your 14-day trial here, right? Um, Now that's something that we um, we had a lot of feedback from users who would be clicking on the start trial and it would just take them to the sign up page, or if they were logged in it would take them to their account page, and then they would say, well, I clicked the start trial button but I'm still showing up as a player account. That's obviously a source of confusion, and we wanted to avoid that. So we made it so if you click there, it would actually take you to the subscription manager automatically. Also, if you are already subscribed and you go there, instead of showing the start trial button, it shows the change your plan button. This is incorrect. We'll have to check why it's saying on this button it's saying 14-day trial. But yeah, now it will say change your plan. So if you click on it, now it will select the plan automatically to change it directly. Oh, I think it's because I do have 14-day trial because this account is on World Builder, but it's a administrator account, so it never used its trial. So that would make sense. So yeah, that's basically one of the changes. We also added this little information here so people know about the trial right away rather than having uh, to click next a few times before they know how many days of trial they have remaining. They can click to see how to start their trial, taking you to the documentation that we've been working on and all of that. So small little improvements like that. There were some issues with regards to having a custom um, package installed. So if you have, for example, one of our marketplace contents, let's say the DM Dave Minotaur Maze, as an example, and you have it, but you bought it via Patreon or some other means, and you installed it manually as a custom module. You imported it into your game. It would show you um, like, oh, there's an update, and if you try to update, it will say you haven't bought this content. So that was causing some confusion to users. So we fixed that. So now if you do have it custom installed, it will show as a custom module. It will show here as custom module. And then if you try to update it, it will check for the manifest, etc. So it will be a much smoother process for those things. And there was something also that um, you might have noticed. I'll get to that in just a second. But other than that, we did some small improvements. We fixed the bug with bulk playlist importing and a bunch of other small improvements. One of the big things also is that we tweaked our server configurations and made more use of Kubernetes, which has been really great. Last month we had some problems, unfortunately, with regards to performance, as we had trouble dealing with surges of users, and I'm glad to say that we don't have that problem anymore. We haven't seen that problem anymore. In last week, there were two DDoS attacks that happened, and I've seen a lot of websites suffer from the same thing. And we only had like slowdowns for a couple of minutes, and then it's able to take on that load immediately and adapt. So that was really good to be able to see sudden surge of 4 times the number of requests per second arriving on the server, sustained for like 10 minutes, and um, it doesn't affect the actual website performance. People did notice. We've had a few complaints of, oh, I'm having some slowdowns, and within less than a minute, everyone's saying, oh, it's cleared up, because it's able to scale up and everything. And we haven't heard any users complaining about the gray screen issue or slow to load the server and things like that. So that has been really good. We've improved the performance, and I'm really happy with that. There's still always more work to be done, and we're also still working on our new server move, and I'll talk about that in a second as well. Um, but we've stabilized quite a bit what we have right now, so that's really, really good. Apart from that, a little announcements about sales tax, and then we're going to show some stuff on the bazaar, and then we'll talk about the new features that are coming really, really soon, and I hope that you're going to be excited about those. So, with regards to sales tax, we started collecting sales tax for Rhode Island and Pennsylvania states in the US. Um, so if you are a subscriber, you're on Rhode Island or Pennsylvania as your billing information, you should have received an email notifying you of the new sales tax addition. So if you see a slight increase in your invoicing, that would be why. Also, and this is something unfortunate, but our tax preparation system service that was handled by Stripe Tax had told us that um, subscriptions are not taxable services, and they were only taxing bazaar purchases. And then they changed that at the beginning of January without notice. So we noticed that just in the last week, while we were doing the whole accounting thing that I mentioned earlier, we noticed that Louisiana um, users started to get charged sales tax for their subscription. So we apologize for not notifying you in advance, because we generally notify 2 weeks or 1 month in advance whenever there's a price change like this. I mean, this isn't a price change, but it's a change to the total invoice amount due to the sales tax. But we didn't let you know in advance. You should have received an email yesterday or 2 days ago notifying you of the change with our apologies about the late notice. Unfortunately, it was changed without our own knowledge. But yes, if you're on Louisiana, you are also being charged sales tax now on your subscriptions. So this is just a reminder for those who might have missed the email. And that's about it. Now back to the Bazaar Marketplace. There might have been something that you noticed when I was looking at the stuff here. There's a new little item here called the Forged Dice Set. This is a dice set that we have commissioned from the Rollsmith. They do some amazing work with custom dice sets for the Dice So Nice module, and you can see these dice. They are absolutely beautiful. Um, they have these gold flecks. Um, it's a green dice that matches our coloring and the gold, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And you have the little Forge logo on all of um, uh, the top numbers. So like a 20 on a D20, 12 on a D12, etc. So you know, thank you for the Rollsmith, JDW, Navy for doing. I'm not sure if the name should be called Navy or Navy. I'm unsure, but thank you for doing this work. We commissioned it to sell it on the bazaar, but I love this dice, and I didn't want to have people unable to use it in their games. So instead, we just made it into a pay what you want with the same suggested price as most other um, Rollsmith dice, 4.99. But if you want, you can get it for free, or you can give $1 or the suggested 4.99 if you want. It's a pay what you want. Um, if you want to support the Forge and pay for it and buy the dice set, we'll be very happy. If you don't want to and you just want to use it in your games, and you are free to do that as well. It's pay what you want, available right now on the marketplace for everyone. And as usual, people don't necessarily know that. We haven't been very vocal about it, but if you are not a Forge user, you still like the dice, you can still come on the bazaar um, and just download it. You'd be able to, just go to your account, go to your purchases, and uh, you'll have a little download icon. Basically, well, these are all gift cards, so on this account I don't have any, but yeah, you'd have a little download button, so you can download it as a zip file to install it on your local foundry. Um, and with that being said, I'm gonna go into this call with Destiny Gray, who will um, actually take us through our Bazaar Showcase. Um, and well, actually, no, I'm not gonna open it like that. I'm gonna open it like this through our player app. So I'm gonna give the hand to um, Destiny Gray, who will show us the dice in an actual game being rolled, as well as our other packages from the bazaar that we would like to showcase to you today. And switch in. There you go. Hi, Destiny.
Howdy, the screen sure looking right? It sure looks right.
I think so. Can everyone
Right,
hear Destiny?
rightio. I hope I'm coming through all right. So we'll be showing off
Um,
4 packages today, including these forged dice set. I'll copy and paste a link and name to all of them in chat right now. Right, there we go. So allow me to show you the full glory, the full power of the forged dice set.
Go. Do it.
Look at that. Oh my gosh.
Ooh. Nice. Oh
All the
yeah, and it works with all of the animations that Daiso Nice supports. So you saw the little blaze particles animation on the D12 there.
Yep. So we're going to just do that one more time because I love the sight of all that green. Beautiful, beautiful. It's perfectly in time for Valentine's Day because I'm in love, and by perfectly in time, I mean a day or two late. Uh, much like everyone's presents to their Valentine's special person. uh, so we'll be showing off 3 packages today, other than our Dice So Nice. We'll be showing off The Thing That Should Not Be. It's a module package by DM Dave. Uh, we'll be showing off Ambiances Volume 7, and we'll be showing off by Michael Gelfi, and then finally we'll be showing off Cupid's Valentine Vendetta, a longtime world on the Forge, uploaded by Humperdinck Wares, who's now apparently working for Loot Tavern, which is pretty interesting. I'm glad
Hmm.
they're doing stuff together. So let's set the mood here. So we are just going to go ahead and let's see if this comes through. All right,
Is it coming true?
music takes a second to load. There we go.
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Right. So this map, you know, looks awfully grim right off the bat. We have some grass here that's just covered in like miscellaneous slush and snow looking like a mess. The rock is cold and harsh, and we have some rather gruesome looking people who look straight out of a nightmare. Like it looks like creepy thing from like a Zelda dungeon that grabs you and like steals your soul or something. Pretty disturbing art. This is from the thing that should not be.
Mhm.
It's an adventure module basically. You install it, enable it in your world, and it'll automatically import everything you need to run it. All the characters, all the handouts, any items, everything. It
Nice.
tells the tale of a simple request expanding into something so much worse. Find a friend's missing son. But as the players investigate more and more, they find out that it's more than just a goblin kidnapping them, or
Spoilers! Nothing is ever simple in an adventure.
absolutely not. It's more than just like running afoul of some simple undead in a graveyard. It's something far worse. This son, got wrapped up into something far worse. A threat beyond the player's comprehension. The thing that should not be. It's a nice little unsettling tale from start to finish. It has quite a few scenes that look rather delicious. I'm just showing you a brief preview of the thumbnail, but you can probably see that these are very detailed maps of very high quality that I definitely recommend. And since it's a module, it's easy to install into an existing world and slot into any campaign that you want. If you just want to quickly reskin it, honestly, uh,
Uh, I'm
like
sorry to interrupt, Leon. Something we keep forgetting to do before starting the showcase. Um, Please type hashtag LoveForge in chat in Twitch to enter the giveaway for um, a gift card. We forgot to say it. Is it working? Yes, it worked. So yeah, we like to do a giveaway for a gift card every time we have these dev updates, and during the Bazaar Showcase, you can do that. And once we're done with it, we'll do the drawing for the gift card. So take this opportunity to type hashtag LoveForge in chat to be entered into the draw. Uh, Sorry, Destiny. Please continue.
fine. So as you see, it has all the standard fare you'd want ready with an adventure, and it only comes in at $6.99 and is available for anyone to purchase and install, whether it's on the Forge or on their local Foundry applications. Definitely a heavy recommend from me.
Awesome.
Now,
We
you
don't
might have
have
noticed.
enough adventure modules, I think. So I love seeing those.
Yeah, absolutely. I always like more adventures. You'll also notice we have some music playing that I played at the start. This is from Michael Gelfi. It's Ambiances Volume 7. You might notice that it has a good mix of music and sound effects, and it's very good as backing music. Basically, it helps carry the mood and helps fill in the background of the adventure as you proceed without being too overwhelming and distracting. And there's 50 tracks in this darn playlist, so it has definitely something that'll fit your need. Like let me show, for instance, one of like my favorites here. The Plane of Chaos Monastery track. Is this playing on the live stream right now, Kakaroto?
Mm, now it is.
So this is some nice, fun, like ominous music, and it's just it's perfect if you need sound effects to fill in what you're doing in an adventure, but also need a little bit more like some backing music with it. It's it's one of seven, and and it's definitely something you could use in any adventure. I'm almost certainly grabbing this specific package for an upcoming session I have. And if you're interested in previewing some of his content, Michael Gelfi does have some music sampler pack. Does have a
Yeah.
music sampler pack, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. Available for free on the Bazaar and on
Yes.
the Foundry app. Um, and it's really good. I use music extensively in my games because I think the ambiance just makes the whole thing so much more immersive. So, highly recommend.
For this mammoth album, 50 tracks, you can get it for $12. I think it's well worth the price. So
Definitely.
we're going to unfortunately have to cut that off, but we will be playing another nice, relaxing uh, track, just at a lower volume, and be showing
Yep.
off the final package. This is Cupid's Valentine Vendetta. Now, from the GM side, it's unfortunately full of spoilers, so if you think your GM might be interested in playing a one shot for you, look away now. So, we get in immediately, and it's all in a single map. So, it's an installable world. We don't get a lot of those, which is a shame because while modules are certainly flexible, it's nice to just be able to install a world immediately and have it ready to go. Uh, and the world will last a very long time. They seem to translate very well into updates. It's perfect one-shot material. Basically, the story is there's a demon known as Cupid wreaking havoc within the concourse, which is this marketplace slash like public area for the city. And you can see a whole bunch of people. Some of them are in some strange places. I mean, look at this. Just garbage on the ground, rubble left everywhere. A random guy hanging up in the rafters just doing stupid stuff. Your party is basically walking into a chaotic mess where they've restrained a demon from pandemonium, Cupid, within here. But everyone else doesn't want to be here. Why would they? They're trapped in here with the demon, and so they're going a little crazy. And so your goal is to find Cupid, find the imposter, so to speak, and vote him out by way of sword.
Wow.
You'll notice here that each that there are several levels. You can customize and tailor this adventure to the exact level your party is, the average party level, in other words. There's some nice high quality art here. It's all scaled, like level 14, level 8, level 3. Almost certainly it's perfect for whatever thing you'd want to run. I don't want to reveal the actors in the sidebar here too much because it'll show some spoilers for the adventure. But like, let's pop this out here. You'll see that this token art looks pretty nice. It's a bone devil. We have a Cupid here, and his token art is just absolutely devious.
Looks so cute.
It Gier de Mello, if you're asking about this one, this is a world. It is known as Cupid's Valentine Vendetta. You'll find it under the world category. So, basic goal of the adventure, it's another mystery, but a much shorter one. It's perfect for a Valentine themed one shot. And I like how it helps translate the theme of our showcase so far from one horror adventure into another horror adventure because there's nothing scarier than Valentine's Day. Am I right? Am I
Yeah, I guess it depends on the person, I guess. Some
right?
people find it extremely terrifying. Others simply find it stressful.
Yep. And we can pull up the adventure here. Like, look at this. It even looks like a book. Like it's pretty darn like that's one of the things I like the most about like Humperdinck Ware stuff. It looks so much like an actual book you're reading in Foundry, and that's so
Yeah,
nice. Ah,
nice styling. That's
I
awesome. I really love that side panel on the right with the various levels. Um, like it's auto scaled for you based
yeah
on what kind of level your players are going to be playing this at, rather than giving you sort of, oh, instructions, change this here, that. You have the tokens ready and you can just concentrate on that specific portion. It's interesting with the clues, like It's mystery. Really love it. The art is gorgeous. Looks like a um, train station from uh, the 60s, or I don't know what kind of
Philadelphia
period.
Convention Hall.
Yeah, a little, yeah. And there's just so much in the map, all the details. It's absolutely gorgeous. Love it.
I I'm not sure if you noticed, but this was uploaded back when Foundry just released, also when the Bazaar came out. And
Okay.
so this is before a lot of the dynamic lighting, if I remember correctly, but it seems he went back and just backported it, which
Looks like, yeah.
I'm particularly impressed by. That's really cool. I really like that they went through that effort. So
Yeah.
you can definitely tell why they teamed up with Loot Tavern, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sheer good quality. You can pick it up on the bazaar for $9.99, and again, like with most other packages on the bazaar, you can install it on the Forge, or you can install it in your own local Foundry games if you want. But on the Forge, we'll host it for you for free, as long as you have a free against your data storage, mind you. So
Yeah.
that's
Basically, quota free installation.
that's the end of my Bazaar Showcase, but that's not the end of creator stuff we'll be showing off. I believe there's a certain Kickstarter we'll be talking about today.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
All right. I switch back to the other view, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Let's do that then.
Thanks
Let's
for
do that.
thanks for watching along my Bazaar Showcase. I'm really looking forward to seeing how you all feel about this Kickstarter because I'm super excited for it.
Awesome. All right. Before we get to that, I'm just gonna give everyone a last chance to enter their Love Forge key on hashtag LoveForge on the chat if you haven't done so already. If you want to be entered into our giveaway for the $20 gift card. Uh, Weirdly, oh, I know why it's all gray at the bottom there. I need to stop sharing my camera with Discord so that it can actually show up in OBS. Give me a second. Just gonna switch. And does the camera open? No. Is it working now? No, my camera doesn't work. Ah. Oh, okay. Uh, it should be working now. Hopefully. Okay. Trying. Give me a second. Give me a second. Please end with your broadcast. Don't do this to me. Well, NVIDIA broadcast is working. Now I just needed to. There you go. There you go. Camera is working again. So reminder to self: stop sharing my camera with Discord before switching to OBS view. Thank you, uh, Gator Gator Mello, for the fate. Um, all right, that's working again. So I was saying, um, everyone, please um, uh, type your hashtag LoveForge in the chat. We're giving you a few more seconds, and then we're going to do the draw for the giveaway. Um, right. So we have 16 entries, and that's gonna be it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're closing the giveaway. And someone came in at the last second. All right, giveaway is closed, and we are going to draw the results now. Um, me a second. Uh, I'm on it. Destiny, I'm on it. I'm just not seeing. I'm just wanting to make sure that everyone got included in it, cause oh, I was wondering why it didn't say that it added into the unknown gaming. And that's because they had already entered it 20 minutes ago. So that's why. And I was wondering if Mubot was somehow ignoring people, but that was legitimate. All right, drawing entrant, and it's going to be MX Zytos, and that's the winner of the gift card. Yay! There you go, and they're available, and they saw it. Um, awesome. Uh, do send a message with um with Destiny. Um, so they'll get you your gift card. I'm not sure if he has a gift card ready to just give you the link to it, or he'll ask you for your email, so he can send you the gift card. So congratulations, MX Zytos, um, on the giveaway, and sorry everybody else. Better luck next time. All right. So let's get back to our scheduled programming. So we were going to be talking about another creator-based project, a Kickstarter for Crucible Magazine. So we had the chance to meet with the Crucible team at PAX Unplugged in December. Um, and uh, actually the math cartographer, I'm sure everybody knows about the math cartographer, is part of that team, and we met with him. And Crucible Magazine is a Kickstarter. Well, this is a Kickstarter for Crucible Magazine, which is a paper magazine for tabletop RPGs, and it is the first magazine that is Foundry VTT compatible, where it will come with content ready to use in Foundry VTT. You will have in your prints, in your PDF, QR codes that you'll be able to scan and claim the module, the package, to install in your Foundry VTT. So when it's showing you some magic items, for example, you'll be able to just scan the QR code and import that into Foundry VTT automatically as a compendium of these magic items with all the art in digital format and things like that. It looks really good. It's great. I believe the first issue is available for free. Leon can contradict me if I'm wrong here, but I believe that that first issue is available for free, so you can see what it looks like. Um, yeah, download the launch issue on Foundry or as a digital PDF, free digital issue. There you go. I wasn't wrong. Um, and it has full sized maps, and the magazine has articles. It has all sorts of really great content. It's not just about magic items or just about maps. There's articles, there's interviews, there's all sorts of actual uh, content for you to use. Here as a stretch goal 3D mini STL files with each issue, for example. So there's a ton of stuff, and it's a magazine that we had the chance to see in its paper format when we were at PAX, and it looks great. And the Monolith Cartographer and the Crucible team are friends of the Forge, and we just want to give them a shout out for their Kickstarter. And if you want to join the project, pledge to them, and get this off the ground, that would be awesome. I believe Destiny has the link to post that you can post in the chat so others can check out the Kickstarter. Please do so if you find it interesting. Um, then support the project, and if you don't want to, uh, it's your choice. Maybe tell your friends. Maybe someone else would be interested, and even if you like it, tell your friends as well. Let's get this project off the ground, because I would really love to see a magazine like I used to read it when I was young, but with like digital content attached to it, instead of a CD taped to the front. you know. Um, so yeah, there it is. Crucible Magazine, a monthly magazine for 5th edition D&D with Foundry VTT support in it. All right. Let's see if Leon had some notes for me to mention about Crucible. Um, uh, da, 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 yeah, there's it's. I mean, I mentioned Matt Cartographer earlier, but he's the one that we actually met at PAX, who is part of the Crucible team. But it's just to be sure that everyone is aware, it's a collaboration of many different creators. It's a whole lot of very knowledgeable people uh, in the sphere, and most of them are going to be people you already heard of. And yeah, they're all collaborating together to make this amazing product. So I don't want to have it uh, seem like I'm saying this is just one person making this. But yeah, and yeah, it has full adventures and things like that. Download the free issue, and check it out. See what it looks like. All right, now back to our regular programming. Um, I want to show you. I'm currently on the dev server, and I want to show you a couple of changes that are coming eventually soon. So you can see here, and this is just for testing at the moment, but you see language, français. Yes, I do speak French. So this is just for testing, but we have the backend done for internationalization support, right? We don't have yet the translations. We don't have yet the like every sentence everywhere that is ready to be translated, but we have the backend mostly for being able to do those translations. It's done. It's ready. You can see I've set this account to French, and you can see some bits and pieces of it. For example, here it says mon compte rather than my account. You see Mediatek instead of assets library, profil usager instead of user profile, information sur le compte instead of account information. So there's these little la forge instead of the forge. So there's a few little pieces. The reason why you see it scattered around is because it's different technologies that make up our website. This is server side handlebars. This is from the navigation bar. This is using a key. This is using the string itself has been translated. This is a view component. I've also tried client-side handlebars in another section of this, the summon import wizard, I believe. Analyser les fichiers. So this is the client-side handlebars. Um, this is basically why, why it's not like very consistent. I just wanted to make sure that every little piece of technology that we are using to build the website, whether it's translated from the server or translated on the client side from the browser, whether it's handlebars or the view components. So those are all the technologies that the translation framework is working everywhere consistently, which it is. So that's great and it's awesome. It has taken longer than we thought it would to get that set up, but it's now moving to the next phase of the process of the project. So we'll start, just making sure that every single sentence is captured to be translated. We'll add a way to not just display the language, but also select your language. And then we'll have those translations done, and you'll be able to switch natively to your preferred language. We have English, obviously, as the base language. We'll have French as well, because this is a Quebec company, so we'll have French. We also have quite a lot of French users from France. Um, we'll have German. We'll have Brazilian Portuguese. We'll have Spanish, and probably also Japanese. That's the ones I am thinking of with regards to our user base, because we can't have support for every possible language, but there's a few that have a big portion of the user base, so we want to at least cater to those people by having native translations of the website and all of its content. Coming soon, within the next few months for sure. But yeah, it's coming soon. The other big change that's coming soon, which I'm sure that some people are going to be very excited about, is two-factor authentication support. And you'll see the setup button appear. You can request two-factor authentication. You'll get sent an email. Um, so you need to enter that code by email. You'll need to scan the QR code and enter the code here. You'll need to confirm with your password. And then once you do all of that, you'll be able to basically enable two-factor authentication on your account. And then whenever you log in, you'll be able to just automatically uh, be asked the two-factor authentication key. The whole process is really nice. Let me actually do. I'm gonna try and do that just to show you the whole process. So I get an email. So here's my key. Let me see if I scan the QR code, and then we have this is the QR code, and I'm confirming my password here. Hopefully I got it right. Nope. Oh, yeah. Two-factor changed because I was too slow. There you go. What did I miss? It was working earlier. Well, it's not working. Uh, it was definitely working. How can I maybe delete this thing? There you go. Just needed to update the key. And so yeah, you have your recovery code. Um, we want to make sure that you save your recovery code before activating, because if you lose your two-factor authentication key and if you lose your recovery codes, your account would be inaccessible. You can print them, so it shows you this nice little print page, and yeah, so have that, and once you enable it, then you would have it set up. You'll be able to reconfigure it, ask to renew, and things like that. So it's working pretty well, um, and it's awesome, and I can't wait to have it ready. It's in the final stages of review, and it will be made available soon enough. And that was kind of the big change that's coming as well, with the two-factor authentication, the internationalization, and once we have that, we would definitely recommend for people to have extra security to enable two-factor authentication. Security is something that we have very close to heart, as you well know. So it's something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. Um, and yeah, that's it. You don't need to enable it if you don't like that. Obviously, it's an optional thing. You need to be sure that you want it enabled before you do. But yeah, it's definitely something that we would recommend to keep your account safe. Um, and that's it. That was what we wanted to show you. And now, if you all have questions, we will be ready to move to the Q&A portion of the stream. Let's switch. Yes, this is how we do it. All right. Let's see if there were any questions from rather long chat today. Um, let's see if I missed anything that I should be answering. Um, all right. In the meantime, if you have any questions about the Forge, about anything, and um, or anything that we mentioned today, please ask, and I'll be answering that. All right. So, okay. All right, going all the way back to like 40 minutes ago, Alark asked who came up with the awesomeness module name. That's gone through a few different iterations. Initially, it was called the Forge optional module, and then it became the Forge improvements, or optional improvements, and then it became the Forge improvements, and people were like confused. What is improvements? And it was only handling some of the issues with MP3 files showing infinite durations and things like that. And then I was like, what does it mean, the Forge improvements? And then I made it more awesomeness because I think the Forge is awesome. So this adds even more awesomeness to your games via the Forge. And that was still, kind of a tentative name that I expected to have changed within the next few days, but it seems to have stuck so far. It might still change, we'll see. Um, but I kind of like it. All right, so Doug playing games. Yeah, had a player getting confused about the trial. Yeah, I want to subscribe. Yeah, that's a confusion we've seen a few times, and I've been wanting to fix that for a while, with regards to the trial button. Um, who would want to DDoS the Forge? I think it's just general DDoS. We've seen it happen to a few different sites. My personal blog was DDoSed as well a couple of times um, this week. I know that AWS servers got some issues as well in the last week. Um, let's see. Into the Unknown Gaming. Pathfinder 1E has a notoriously slow load time. Is this an issue that might be addressed in the future? Unfortunately, I don't think that it can be addressed. It's a change that happened, I think, in 0.8. It's a Foundry VTT change that loads the compendiums. I think the biggest issue is when you have these compendiums, a lot of compendiums, and Pathfinder 1, Pathfinder 2, they have quite a bit. It shouldn't be as bad as it used to, but if you have a notoriously slow load time, um, eliminating some of those compendiums that you don't use would help. I believe what the system developers did was move the bestiaries into modules instead of having them as part of the system itself, which should help. But if you still enable that module with all the compendiums, you'll have the slow load time. So I would recommend you just enable them when you need to import um, beasts from it. Otherwise, keep them um, disabled. Also, first team dice. Nice shirt. Uh, just going really quickly on the old questions. Um, what's the module? All right. Rent is expensive. Purge is still awesome even without gift cards. It's completely changed how I run my weekly games. Having all six worlds available for my players 24/7. Huge selling point for them. Thank you unto the unknown gaming. Yes, having um, that game manager feature is that was the idea that sparked the whole Forge. That was something that I wanted to have, and then I built the Forge around having that feature basically, and I'm really glad that it helps you run your games. Um, it's really beautiful. No Alaric and D&D population me. We won't have Estonian or Norwegian support because there's just what, two users with that language, you, Alaric, and Kevin. Well, not really, but not enough people to justify that. Phalanx Nihongo Hadoko. Yes, Japanese potentially. We're very friends with the Japanese community, so we will have uh, some Japanese translations. Any updates on syncing with an external folder for assets? I believe I caught up on the backlog of questions. Syncing with an external folder for assets. Not sure exactly what you mean by that, Neurolancer. Syncing an external folder. So you have the asset sync feature that we do offer already. Um, so if you want, for example, to sync your local folder to the Forge, you would be able to go into the import wizard, select your folder, and it will upload any new files or modified files, right? So it's basically a sync because it doesn't re-upload anything that's already there, etc. If you want to download from your assets library to your local folder, you can enable the Forge module within Foundry VTT on local self-hosted Foundry and go into configuration, module configuration, and open asset sync. And it opens a dialog for you, and you just start the sync. It will do that as well. So it will check the local files, it keeps a cache, it keeps an image of what's on the local files and the remote, and it does all the verification. It will only download new or modified images. So it basically does the sync. It's not automatic. You have to go click and do sync. It should take just a few seconds if you're just syncing um, from an old sync. And the same thing with the import wizard. So there you go. Duck playing games. Any further plans for the player clients? Not so much at this point. There's some possibilities that we could do something additional with it, but we don't have any specific plans for it right now. We might not. If you have ideas, feel free to post them on Discord in our feature suggestions channel, and we'll see if we can do something like that. But right now, we're very happy with what we did with the player application, and you know, if we think of something else, we'll do it. But I don't really have any specific ideas on what we could do. So if you have some, let us know. The other Oshi. Yes, my ears are phasing in and out of existence. It's NVIDIA broadcast. It keeps trying to remove the background. It thinks the ears are part of the background. But yeah, it doesn't want to show there. Yeah, I love my cat ears headset. This was a gift, Christmas gift by my team. Um, yeah, it's too green. No, even I tried with like a red LED red color and all that, it doesn't. It also removes them. It's just it doesn't feel like it's part of the human face because I think it's using AI. And the AI says this is the shape of a human face, so it removes anything that's outside of it. All right. Speaking of Gary Khan, I ran several online sessions for them that were hosted on the Forge. It worked very well. Oh, cool. Question one: who did the internationalization and two-factor authentication? So internationalization has been the work of Phi. You see Phi as staff in our Discord, and two-factor authentication has been the work of Varstal. Um, there's the profile update was done by Iron Monk. The new subscription manager was also done by Iron Monk. Most of the client's UI improvements that we've seen recently, Iron Monk has been the one driving those changes, and the uh, rather heavy backend changes like the two-factor authentication support, as well as the new image optimizer support. That's Varstal. However, the image optimization stuff has not been merged yet. It still needs quite a bit of testing. I want to make sure that we don't deploy it and then assets stop loading or become too slow to load, etc. But yes, Varsal did a lot of work on um, re-implementing the image optimizer. um, I'll get to your question 7, Alaric, in a second. Let's get to question 2. Is Kevin still awesome? Kevin is still awesome. How is that even a question? Non-disputable. All right, question 3. What does it really mean to forge improvements? It means it improves stuff. Question 4. Do you like dank red or drab brown better on undead minis? I like my undead minis to be dead, if it's possible. Are the troubles over and will Forge life be better now? Um, I think so. I think the troubles are over for the most part. There's probably always going to be some things that happen at one point or another. The important part is that we are on top of things, and when issues happen, we fix them, we learn from them, and we make sure they don't happen again. That's, I think, the important part. But things have been very, very stable lately, and I'm very happy about that. Um, but we'll see. I mean, if suddenly we get 10 million users trying to connect at once, we might need to adapt things differently to how we're doing now. But I think we're good for a very long while with regards to all the tweaks for CPU usage utilization, auto scaling algorithms, and all that. I think we got it nailed down pretty good. How are you doing, bro? Question 6. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm I'm a little bit burnt out. And just came out from a pseudo vacation in December, but already burnt out because I didn't really take vacation. But that's actually a good question because I believe next month I'll be taking a week off and potentially traveling. So I'll be really off this time, not on vacation, but doing 40 hours of work. So yeah, studying a riot, riot. Green think it is using AI, maybe a person that just crops your background out. It might just be a tiny little person in the computer. Yes, Larry, good work, guys. Question said, what new image optimizer? So we had an image optimizer feature when we were using Bunny CDN, which was really cool, really great, and had quite a bunch of features. Like you could blur an image, you could generate thumbnails with it, and things like that. When we switched our CDN to Cloudflare, it has improved our reliability tenfold, but we lost that feature. We still have the ability to serve WebP files instead of PNGs um, or JPEG. So WebP optimization is still there, but we don't have the auto thumbnailing. So if you're, navigating your assets library on the Forge, it's actually loading the full image and just resizing it in the client. So if you have like a 10 meg map, you're still downloading 10 meg just to show a 50 pixel version of it. So having server side thumbnailing, server side rotate, for example, or blur, or um, uh, things like that is going to be really, really good in improving the performance when you're navigating your assets, whether within the Forge or within Foundry. Um, as well as some of the issues when it comes to the maximum texture size allowed that you can do with your GPU. So having it auto resize so you don't go over the limit and things like that. So that's basically what the new image optimizer implementation does. It re-implements all of that. It does WebP conversion. It does sharpening. Um, uh, Blurring, it does all sorts of things. Um, and it's done. It's working technically. It just hasn't gone through my very extensive testing regimen uh, before I feel confident enough to release it on the production server for everybody. So we'll see. All right. When will the World Builder Knackups be released? So the time machine feature, which we demoed in December, I believe, is still being worked on. Unfortunately, we haven't made much progress on it recently because December was mostly vacation, and then January was mostly accounting and things like that. It's getting close. Um, it's getting close. If you haven't seen the demo, if you look at our YouTube channel, you'll see the demo of the time machine. I believe now we're calling it Save Points. Um, um, it's almost there. There's mostly some security related changes that I want to implement so that, if you request a backup to be restored or taken, the server that accesses the actual backup files should be completely isolated from the rest, but still be able to communicate with the Forge website so it can receive requests and tell it when the backups are done or the restore is done. Um, so the last time when I demoed it, that part was missing. It was, well, it was there, but it wasn't complete. So um, once we have that, we'll be able to release the time machine as a beta at first, and then we'll improve the UI and things like that. One of the things that has been taking a lot of our time with regards to server setup is the new European servers, because we want to move to a new uh, data center that will be better in so many different aspects, but the learning curve on that has been long, and there's a lot of work to be done. So we're taking our time, but we've been working on that for a little over a month now. But yes, new European servers with more bandwidth, more CPU power, more RAM, more everything, and it wouldn't be like cloud instances, but actually dedicated servers, etc. So that's a lot of work because we're not just, hey, give me an instance on the cloud. We're actually, hey, we have this dedicated machine. We need to create our own VMs. We need to secure them. We need to create VLANs. So it's a whole other setup. It's a whole other world. Um, and we want to make sure that we do it right. We're almost ready. I believe yesterday night, I had it pretty much done with the development server, so testing was all working right. This morning I found a little problem with it, so we need to check again to make sure that what happened there. But it's almost done, and then we'll add it as a new region. So we'd have European, and then you would have Europe, um, new Frankfurt servers, I believe we'll call it, something like that. So people can migrate to it and test. So if you have issues, you can still go back to the old region. And as things seem to be stable and people are testing it and no issues are happening, then we'll do a migration of everybody to the new servers, and then we'll just destroy the old data center setup. And that's what's been holding us back from handling the server setup for the backup system. Um, because yeah, let's see. We always think so. Bunny CDM Blast from the past. Appreciate my game not crashing on Friday nights. I appreciate your game not crashing on Friday night. Bree Metal Guitar. Guitar? Yes, we did have more and more people complaining about um, those issues during peak times, um, and those complaints have disappeared since we did the tweaks, and I'm very happy about that. Um, I think you'll find the experience being a lot better going forward. Yes, Alaric, we are going to be doing um, thumbnailing ourselves with the new image optimizer. That will be our version of it, server side. Yeah. Made a lot better from before. It's in the past. I'm happy with the improved reliability. We demoed it in November. Yay, new server. Question 9. New data center location, Estonia, right? No, Frankfurt. Awesome. Where they will be located? Frankfurt. It's actually right now the servers are in Amsterdam, and we're moving to Frankfurt. We had some issues with the Amsterdam data center with regards to routing with some ISPs, that it was not very reliable. And what we did is that now everything goes through the Frankfurt data center right now on our dedicated machines, and then it just proxies things to Amsterdam. So you're already going through Frankfurt, but your actual games are hosted on the Amsterdam data center. So we just have like a little proxy in Frankfurt. The idea is to have the Forge website, the server, the Kubernetes cluster, the Ceph storage cluster, and the Foundry games running in Frankfurt as well. Um, Performance improvements are expected on the horizon for EU servers. Yes, technically, they should. One of the things that with these dedicated servers will have a 1 gigabit per second guaranteed bandwidth. With our current data center, we have maybe 250, maybe 400 megabits per second, but it's not guaranteed. So sometimes we never even reach those limits, but sometimes maybe some other users on those same data center are using up some of that bandwidth. We just don't know because they don't guarantee the speeds. Um, so yeah, with 1 gigabit will be way more than enough. Um, so at least bandwidth wise, it shouldn't be a problem. But also CPU wise, the CPUs they are not virtualized, and they are 4 to 5 times more performant, more operations per second than what we currently have with the cloud instances. So they're gonna be good, hopefully. Performance wise, the games will load faster because it's faster servers, faster CPU, etc., etc. Um, so yeah, no issues last Friday. It was great. Glad to hear it. Thank you, Brian Metal Guitar, which I will start calling Brian. As a Doug playing games, do you use a controller or mouse? That's a good question. I'm gonna let Duck playing games answer. Forge is awesome, very less hassle for me to run the game. AMS service sucks. Stable throughput is so important. Yes, I mean, I don't know that the throughput is unstable. I just don't know. That's the question. That's the problem, right? It could be that we could go to 1 gigabit per second and we always have that available. We just never go above that 250 megabit per second. But when people are complaining it's slow and I see, oh, we're at 100 megabits per second, we're not even close to the other speeds that we've seen before. I don't know if we're at 100 megabits because that's the speed that we need, that's all that we need, or it's because that's all that we can provide. And it just so happens that today that cloud instance is more limited because of a noisy neighbor, for example. It's just dedicated servers are going to be much, much better. Overall, um, it's just so much more work to get it set up. Cool, excited about the new servers. I am too, because as soon as I'm done with that, we'll be able to do the same thing for North America. The servers will be moving from New York to Beauharnois, which is very near Montreal. Um, so Canadian servers should be pretty much the same with regards to pings for everybody, I think. Um, but we'll have more servers, more throughput. We'll have the assets library on separate dedicated servers, so they're not, competing for bandwidth with the games, and we'll have faster CPUs again, etc., etc., etc. For Brazil, yeah, I know that some people want a new data center in Brazil. It's unfortunately really difficult to have that because unless I go with AWS, which I don't want to do, um, I haven't seen any other cloud provider with a data center in Brazil. So I would need to start looking into co-location, which means not renting a server. I need to go buy the the boards and build the boards myself and then ship them to a data center so they can install it, etc., etc. Question N plus one. U.S. West Coast when? I don't think there's a need for a U.S. West Coast. Um, there shouldn't be, technically. And also, each new region is so much complexity to add. It really is. A lot of complexity. So having four regions is kind of my limit. My limit really was three regions, you know, North America, Europe, Asia. But I had to do the Australia because their experience was just so bad. But I otherwise I wouldn't have done it. Um, West to East routing issues. I I think they happen. And unfortunately we can't do much about it. I think if we do west, then oh, what about central to east or central to west routing issues? Or will there always will be issues, and most of the time those routing issues are caused by the ISPs, and we have no control over that. So it's very difficult to try and cater to every possible use case there, um, and we just can't. Um, we wouldn't be able to have every single region. Also, the OVH data centers, they do not have servers in the West Coast, so that's also a problem. If we can't have a data center in the West Coast, that means I would have to go with DigitalOcean, which do have servers in the West Coast. Um, Although I believe OVH might add some soon enough. Hopefully, I did make the request just in case. So it's still being considered, but not necessarily um, uh, something I will do for sure. Um, but yeah, and that's about it. Is there any other questions, or are we done? Because if you have more questions, please ask them now. I will be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I believe that I answered everybody's questions, and I hope everyone is excited about the changes that we did and the changes that are coming, and you'll try all of those awesome bazaar stuff that we showed. And question XY: do you want a kitten? Mm, not sure. We have two bunnies at home. I'm not sure if a kitten and the bunny would would be happy with each other. I think if they were raised from a young age together, maybe. Uh, but yeah, bunnies. Yes, two super cute bunnies. Um, yeah. But a kitten? No, we don't have a kitten. Not sure if we want one. They'd be super cool. Love kittens, but anyway. All right. If that was the last of the questions, And if the question is, do you want a kitten? I think that we exhausted all Forge related questions. Need a bunny cam for streams? Not not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. We'll see. The problem is that I can't have them here. I can't. We nearly can't pick them up. Because the bunnies will be scared and flee. So I need a cam in the basement where they are, and yeah, it's complicated. But we'll try to set something up at some point. Cats are evil. I read that in D&D module. I don't doubt that, Brian. Not for a second. Thank you for the stream and everything that you and your team do for this community. The basement is where we watch TV. It's the living room basically. It's in the basement. So no, I'm not a monster. They're the monsters. They are taking the entire space. They don't have a cage. They are completely free roaming. We don't want the concept of a bunny in a cage. So they are well trained. They go to their litter and they eat in their little food place. Then they run around the entire um, place. um, Cerberus bunnies. Uh, 5 cats. Wow, Lectu. That's I don't want to imagine if they all decide that you are the bed that they will sleep on. 6 and 2 dogs. That's a lot of work to take care of them all, I imagine. Anyways, bunnies, cats, and dogs. Um, we all love you. Thank you, everyone. Oh, there's Dinesh. I joined late, so you may have answered, but has there been any additional info about the NA server lag I've seen recently? They'll think it's probably module or world size related. Huh, good question. So we were talking about the um, uh, server performance, and it has been very solid for the last month or so. A little over a month, I believe. We did a few tweaks. We changed a few things to be um, scaling much faster, and it should not be lagging. Um, it might be world size related. It might be a module. If it's the UI, like the client UI, that is slow, generally it's going to be hardware acceleration problem. Um, so I would recommend you check those. Come to Discord and post uh, what symptoms you're experiencing, and I'm sure Kevin will be able to help you. Generally, if it's a um, if you feel like it's lagging to open a character sheet, for example, that's a client issue. If you have a very long time to load into the game, it could be module related, it could be server related, it could be connection related. If you have a ton of compendiums, it will affect it as well. So there's a few things that need to be checked to be sure. But yeah, Kevin will help you in Discord and see if there's anything that they can reproduce. All right. I hope that helps, Dinesh. Um, and let us know how your experience is. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for watching, and enjoy the rest of your week. If you want to follow us on our social media to see updates and things of the sort, we recommend also you join our Discord. So here's some media links, social media links I'm posting in the chat. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Reddit, and join our Discord and things like that. And that's about it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your trust in us and for using the Forge. And we hope you have excellent games and don't kill all of your players at once. Bye bye.